method.
Hello, we are a couple of members of Delphic, and you are watching us on Bedroomdisco TV.
You know, we didn't know each other when we were kids, but we both started to learn piano and that when we were just kids, you know. And then you get to that point when you're a teenager and you just think, wouldn't it be cool to be in a band, you know, rather than go to you know, study medicine like everyone else is doing, or do whatever. So I don't know, we spent ages as teenagers just being in bands, you know, not necessarily getting anywhere, just trying it out and stuff. And then I don't know, about 3 years ago we'd kind of decided to form a band together, and that's when it kind of clicked, I guess.
We're definitely more focused in Delphic. Like when you start your first bands, you kind of trying to mishmash, say, Radiohead and I don't know, blues, and you're learning like instruments for the very first time, and you're trying to play all of these like different styles that you're just learning in your first bands, and it just ends up sounding awful because there's no direction or no focus. And then when you start to sort of forget about all of that, and you forget to a certain extent about like some of the musicianship and not needing to do stupid things over the top of songs, you kind of just can concentrate on just writing a good song, and the best way of like putting that across to an audience or to a listener. And I think that's the most important thing about Delphic, is just that we forget everything else and we just do what pleases us and what we want to hear.
We just spent about 3 months talking about it. We went off to this little cottage in the middle of nowhere, you know, and this kind of national park, and we just went walking up hills and just spent ages talking to each other. And Matt as well, who's not here at the moment, but just talking about all our favourite music, what we wanted to achieve. So then when we finally did sit down and start writing music, we knew where we were going. You know, it wasn't a fluke jam, you know. Some bands can get away with that, you know, just get in a practice room, jam, and something brilliant comes out, but maybe the next time they go in a practice room, they can't recreate it. But, you know, we had this plan, so we knew we could keep on going, and we feel with this plan we can keep on going for years and years.
And we'd really managed to get inside each other's heads as well, I think. In all those conversations that we'd had, we'd spoken about what sort of influences we wanted to bring to the record, and what we liked to listen to, sounds that we enjoyed, and how we kind of pictured our debut album being. So all of these kind of, you know, it made us all kind of take note of what each other liked, and it made us kind of a lot more focused in the end as to what the final outcome was going to be for Acolyte. With the album, we just wanted to make. We're kind of aware of like how sales are, CD sales, digital sales, and the kind of the market out there is a lot more people are buying singles, just downloading them here and there off of iTunes and things like that. We've kind of, you know, we grew up listening to like a lot of albums, say like Lost Souls by Doves or OK Computer, which were two albums that kind of like kick-started a lot of our interest into like being in a band and making an album. And that's one thing we've really stuck by, is wanting to make an album, something that worked as a piece of art from start to finish. So a lot of the tracks on the album, such as Acolyte, it's not a single, but it had its place. That was the centerpiece of it. Clarion Call was the start of the album, and we knew that Remain would be the end of it. And so it was almost the singles were almost the hardest pieces of the puzzle to fit in into the album, because we just knew that it would like flow very nicely. So we were quite perfectionist about that, I suppose, to an extent, but we just wanted to make the right album for us at that point. And in terms of the live show, yeah, I mean, we all wear pretty much the same sort of things on stage, but that's just because we like to be uniform. We like to be kind of like slick and to look smart, you know.
Yeah, I mean they changed a lot during the course of the studio process, you know, as we added little bits of sounds, took things away. You know, we had the core songs, you know, for quite a while, and then we experimented with exactly how we wanted to portray them on the record. And then the next task, I guess, was to work out how to do it live, and these change all the time because of the way we do our live set, which is a kind of mixing together kind of thing, you know, like a DJ set, a sort of vibe. So they're always changing, you know. So, and I can imagine when we do our second record, that'll have a slightly different feel. Well, it will definitely have a different feel to the first record, and as a result, the old songs, when they're put together with those new songs, they'll probably change again. You know, they'll always be kind of moulding, which makes it exciting to play them all the time. You know, because it can get boring playing the same songs. But we just we had a lot of the programming, or it might from the outside it might seem like, well, maybe we just were a band and then we took it to you and you added lots of synths to it, and it wasn't like that. And we wanted to, I guess, get across that it wasn't like that, because we spent ages programming this stuff and we spent a lot of time on it and discovered synthesis for the first time, which was a really exciting and important part of the process for us. And then Ewan just made it work on record, some of which involved more programming, some of which involved breaking it down, stripping it back and saying you've overdone it here, and some of it was just acting as a referee between the three of us who were arguing about which way it was going to go. There's no real, it's not like Ewan just came in and said, right, I just add this. It just varies for each song, really.
Basically, we listened to a song by Two Door Cinema Club and really liked it, so we just decided to rip it off.
I can't remember. We had this idea. It was when we first had been messing around with kind of sampling, and it was all new for us at the time when we were doing it. When we kind of were playing around early on and messing around with some synths, and then we had some software on the computer, and we were like, okay, let's just record my voice into it, saying vowels, and just then chop it all up, and then we put that as the intro, and then the rest of the song, I guess, kind of wrote itself. I don't know. It was quite good fun to write, and we knew early on that it was going to be an important track. We knew we had a kind of good thing going. The hardest thing about it was I had one of the sounds, because it's yeah, and then over the top of it goes and that we never really got right, because every time I did it I sounded like a little girl, and everyone laughed at it, and we thought, well, we'll redo it in the studio, we'll do it again, and we never did. And then every time I hear that, a little part of me dies inside, because it's I don't know. Hopefully no one will notice it, but now everyone's going to bloody notice it.
The way that we kind of construct tunes, though, is we because of the way that we write all on our laptops. So we've always got loads and loads of little folders of ideas knocking around. So sometimes we'll have folders just from like we've got a German tour folder for this one. We have ones from different cities around Europe that we've been visiting, something that we've made on the day. But the way that we kind of write tunes is we've got little ideas that we kind of try and fit together. So for something like Doubt, you've got like the synths that like all those kind of things, and that was just one idea. That was just one bit of programming that we had the chorus of Doubt and the verse of Doubt, and we just decided to fit that over the top, and it just worked really well. Some things work, some things don't, but when you've got lots of kind of little bits and bobs, you can sometimes fit them together and get some really good results.
It was originally going to be we were just discussing this the other day. We just remembered we had the little synth sound and that a kind of idea, and we thought, right, what's the chorus going to be? We've got this melody on the piano that goes da 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 da, and then we've got this other melody that goes da 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 da, which is the melody for Counterpoint. And we thought, which one was it going to be? And then we went, just a snap decision, went with Doubt, but Counterpoint and Doubt could have been the same song, like in one, but it was just a snap decision on the day that we decided. We found that very interesting.
I think the concept for the second album was pretty much born not long after we'd gone into the studio to start recording the first album. So we were recording the first album, and because of the way our minds just wander and are very restless, we were already conceptualizing the second album. So that's kind of it's all set in motion, and we've got some great ideas for that we are really excited about at the moment. But it's hard when you're kind of stuck in a schedule where you're touring the first album and you're kind of trying to sell the first album, and in your head you've almost moved on. You've moved on to a different place and it's gone somewhere different already. But it's really hard to kind of get your head round. Kind of in the day you're in the second album mode, and at night when you're gigging you're in first album mode. And
But it's just part of it. It's something we're just getting used to,
It's people like Björk, where she when she comes out with another album and she gets the live set together, like as Rick said before, the songs from the first album will take on a different form. They'll be made to fit in with that second album, and that's what's like really kind of exciting us about the second album, and then also about the prospect of us playing live the first album again.
That was one of the most amazing moments in the album.
And then the next verse comes in, and he just like sings it like, "There's nothing you can like."